been around and know what I'm saying. So it's not a fan base, me. You know, look at club. You know what I mean? You either with it or you're not with it. Here's to the story. And big up yours. And of course, you know, this is Rodney's story. Right? Yeah. So I keep hearing this argument from a lot of women about whether or not the Jamaican man or men, but let's just keep it to the Jamaican man, whether or not they can handle successful women. I don't know necessarily how we want to categorize successful women, but let's talk about the corporate women, the women who are up the economic ladder and the social climbers and those who have achieved much. The idea is, you say men can't manage successful women, okay? Or is it that you're saying only successful men can handle successful women? I don't know, but I keep hearing men. So we'll work with that. So if you're a successful woman and you're looking for a very nice man, obviously you don't plan to sit down and tell him about all your wonderful successes and preach about your independence and the fact that you don't need a man and man serves no real purpose in your life and you're okay by yourself, you have your own money, you have your own car, your own house, you're a member of a board, you went to Harvard, you went to UWI, you have 5 degrees and 17 thermometers, whatever the case may be. You know that's not necessarily the most appealing thing to a man. Or maybe you don't know. So let me tell you, one of the first things that will make us not able to manage a successful woman is when you're trying to sell your success as a reason why we should find you attractive. Because frankly speaking, the only thing we care about in life is your personality and your character. Yeah. If it is that, you know, you could be as successful as you could have buy Bill Gates 10 times, as far as we're concerned, if you don't have the right personality or the right character traits, you're right. We don't necessarily want to manage or handle. And what is this argument about whether or not men can handle successful women? As far as me know, as a lover of dogs, I handle dog. I don't necessarily want to handle a woman. You handle situations, you handle problems. I don't want to necessarily be handling a woman. But in the context of how it is usually said, I can understand what it means. Whether or not men can generally relate well to successful women. Let me tell you one of the things, you want to test the theory? Let me tell you one of the things you need to test. Picture this for a minute. You go out on a date with a man that you found to be attractive and you want to know more about him. You know, the get to know you part. And in the first half hour of him sitting down, he's told you he's the managing director of this, he earns this much salary, he's top of the list in his company, he's been employee of the year 10 times, he has 3 degrees, he's traveled the world, he's spent how much money on this, he bought his car for that, he just bought an apartment for this, and he goes on and on and on and on and on about himself and tells you all these wonderful things. And he's, you know, preening himself like a cat. You know what the average woman sits down and says? And that includes the average successful woman. This man full of himself. No, sir. You don't have the space and time for a man like this because you suddenly you find him unattractive. Yeah? Good. Is it a case that you can't manage a successful man or handle a successful man? No. It's simply a case that you've just found him to be unattractive because his personality and character traits, in spite of his success, don't make him any longer be somebody that you would find attractive. Good. This is the man who on the first date wants to order for you even before you've looked at the menu. This is the man who wants to tell you what to wear on the first date or even the next date. He wants to tell you everything about how things are going, what things should happen, what shouldn't happen, how your hair should be, whether or not you should wear drop earrings, loop earrings, earrings at all. The successful man. Yeah. Now let's flip that for a second. And just imagine that as a successful woman, you are sitting down trying to tell a man for half an hour, 45 minutes, how much you earn, how big you are in your company, how many degrees you have, all these wonderful things, how much you just spent buying the clothes, where you went on a trip around the world, how much money you spent, how much money you have in the bank, how much investments you have. And after 45 minutes, you probably have to pull yourself up and say, oh, hold on a minute. I've been talking about myself all this time. What about you? And after a few dates, this man no longer has that much interest. And your argument is, you know what the problem is? He just couldn't handle a successful woman. It isn't that you're successful. It isn't success that's the problem. It's the fact that you need to walk around with your success on your shoulders. You need to walk around with it as if you're some man in Gladiator, as if you're trying to always prove to somebody that you just won a war. We are happy for your success. We are proud of you and your successful ambitions and all these wonderful things that you've achieved. But a man is not prepared to sit down and endure somebody who is trying to compete with him. Somebody who is trying to make him know that they're probably as much a man or more of a man than him. You understand? You need to be that person in your business space, in your corporate space, not in the space of a relationship, a romantic idea, or even trying to date and see what is what out there in the world and gain companionship. You understand? And if you think it's joke, ask your friends, your girlfriends, ask your friends. If it is that this is how you talk to your friends, because I doubt very much you do, but if you do, and they don't have no problem with it, just stop and ask them one day if they think that that kind of conversation is going to necessarily attract a man and keep a man. Now, you might very well buck up on a man who is insecure. We can live with that part. We understand that part. But even the most secure man in the world is not prepared to sit down and battle for half an hour, 45 minutes, a resume. You understand? Because we don't want to date a resume, and we're not dating success. We want to date a really nice woman. It matters not if she went to a great school, if she got the greatest education, or if she's the most successful person in the world. What we want is the nicest person in the world. But hey, if you believe for some reason that now, having said all I've said, that may I try beat successful women, and may I try tell them, say, oh, them need to be, what? Hiding them success. It's not about that. It's about knowing. You know you're successful. We know you're successful. You don't have to sit and preach about it. It's not a job interview. You know what I mean? But hey, here's to the story. That's Rodney's story.